Yeah.
We're on our way home right now. It's been a long week. It was such a weird week, right? It was so warm at the Meadows and freezing cold in Ontario, and somewhere in between here in Ohio. We get all the babies trained. I brought you guys pretty long videos on all of them. I brought you a top 10 list underneath here, and I'm going to make Amy do a top 10 list either. She's trying her hardest not to do it, but I'm going to force her to do it. Hey, no, so Amy said, why don't you get James or somebody to do it? And I told her, I said, James and the people in Ontario haven't seen the horses in Ohio and vice versa. There's only so many horses, people that have seen both. Danny went over here once. One time Danny was over here. And Amy and I are the only ones that really go both places. She's been here in a couple of weeks.
Still don't see them all.
You see all the horses. You see all the horses, same as I do. Just because I didn't go with them doesn't mean they weren't impressive looking, and that is what we're after. A number of horses getting ready. This is a super exciting time of the year. You know, I love my job. You guys will never hear me say, oh, it's a terrible time of year. Now, it's tough and stressful in the sense of the staking payments that have to win. Yeah, that makes it a tough time of year. But to watch the babies start to really take shape slowly right in front of you, to watch the 3-year-olds and sophomores get closer and closer to the races, and then to see our horses, our race horses do hopefully well on the track, it's also exciting too. Different, trying to find paths for every horse. We'll talk about that with a couple of different horses in this video. We have in other videos throughout the day, but I think the most important takeaway is, yes, it was not the start to 2023 that we wanted. You know, we didn't get our horses in place. We didn't. I guess maybe I am being a little greedy too. Looks Like Money was fantastic at the start. Locatelli was great, but we didn't get a chance to race all the horses in the classes we wanted, right? Had to move some horses around. It didn't work out as well as we wanted, but it didn't work out horribly either. You know, and in reflection of 2022, you know, to talk about the year that we had, you know, Kings County setting 2 track records and looking fantastic. We'll talk about him in a few minutes also. Patrick DePrana was so good for us. Locatelli was good. White Tiger was even good. He didn't quite get to 100,000, I don't think, though, did he? But he had yeah, it's my fault. But we did have a great year with a number of horses, and not to even talk about our rookies from last year were impressive. And I guess we were spoiled a little bit. So maybe I am being a little arrogant and saying, well, we didn't have the start that we wanted. Of course, we wanted to win all the races we're in, but it doesn't always work that way. And it can't always be about the here and now. You know, we talk about the horses getting ready now. I'd Amy write down just a little list of some of the horses that had raced this week. You know, fresh in my memory was She's a Sassy Beach winning at the Meadowlands on Friday. So we've already won a race in New Jersey. Haunted House finishing second in Ontario. He was great. HP Maestro was second at the Meadows. So there's 3 jurisdictions we did well in already this week. Yo Mister is his first start for us is imminent, whether it be Ohio or Pennsylvania, one or the other. I think he'll race in this week. Odds on Delray, again, Megan did a tremendous job with him. Second in his first outing for us, just got nipped at the wire in 53. Dustin Hanover was good the other. Yes, he made a break at the gate leaving, but the horse was still very, very good. He's going to be a work in progress. He's a horse that, if we manage him properly, I think we're going to look back at this horse, you know, even a year from now and say, geez, I'm glad we did it this way. And every horse is different. You know, understanding that there is quite a lot ahead for each of them is important. You know, when we just get to the point where we're racing a horse for the here and now, some of the aged horses, then that's how it is. But a horse like Dustin Hanover, who is underweight, who needs a lot of work, who is clearly getting better every week, horses like that take time. And I truly like the horse. I think he'll be all right for us. You see some of our aged horses have come back. Per Lucky was awesome last week. And then again, some of our sophomores that have turned 4 now are getting ready, and some of the 2-year-olds that have turned into sophomores, their starts are imminent also. Sister Solange will qualify on Wednesday. And I just, you know, I'm gonna stop with Sister Solange there because I'm gonna circle back to her in a second. More Than You Know was fantastic also in schooling. He's gonna qualify next week. World for 2, long awaited starts for him. He's ready to go now. He's going to be qualifying next Friday. I guess 3 points of interest. Locatelli qualified also. He's ready to go. White Tiger school or trained. He's going to be ready to go next week also. So the only, I guess 3 points would be somebody asked me about Kings County. We gave him a little rest. He's going to breed those 6 mares, and obviously he physically won't breed them. We'll collect the semen from him and inseminate those mares. That's all being done through the Ohio State University, I believe, the clinic that they have there, which is kind of cool. We have the 6 mares to breed to him. The other 2 mares, are a little bit close to the Muscle Hill line of Kings County, so they'll go to International Money. That's where our 8 trotting mares will go, and then Lather Up will be rebred to Capistrano. Really happy with the Lather Ups that we've seen so far. Now, the 3 points, first one was Kings County, as I said. He'll be ready to go probably in a month or so, but we'll be breeding mares with him along the way. Secondly is Sister Solange, and this is important. Not the very most important part of this sheet, but easily the second. Sister Solange a little underweight. We're really struggling. Adeline, shh. We're really struggling to keep the weight on. Addie. We're really struggling to keep the weight on Sister Solange. She doesn't eat well, and I think she needs to be in a different setting where it's a smaller setting. I thought we'd send her to Tim and race her in the Numbers of 2 series, but again, you'd be going from a big barn to a big barn. And I think I would rather opt for the third option. Not going to keep her in Ohio. Not going to send her to Pennsylvania. I'm going to send her to New York with Megan. She got along with her last time. Now, she didn't race fantastic for Megan last time, but that was at the end of her 2-year-old season. And she was a little chewed up at that point. What I need to do is see the weight put on Sister Solange. And if we're struggling, when I'm watching us struggle with the horse, there's nobody to blame. But we do have to put her on a much more strict program. Maybe in the morning go to the field for an hour. We don't have a field at Northfield. We don't have a field at the Meadows. Maybe in the morning go to the field for an hour. Come in, jog, focus on her appetite and lowering her stress level. And I think the only way to do that is to have her at a training center at a farm. So that means she can go to Stacy, but bringing in a Pennsylvania-bred filly deep into the southern Ohio makes little sense when Megan would have been the one that raced Sister Solange last year anyway. And even more importantly, she's been asking me for a non-winners to 2 trotter about how cheap they are at Yonkers right now with short fields. That's not going to stay like that forever, but it is right now. So I think, and maybe some of our clients may not want to hear this, but she doesn't have to race it at Yonkers either. She can race at the Poconos also. But I think it's important and imperative that we change her entire regimen of training right now, and that needs to start with management of her stress level and increasing her appetite. Megan had some luck with that last year with her at the end of the season, and I think all things considered, stepping back and looking at what our options are moving forward, I believe that this is the best route forward for Sister Solange. So I think I've made up my mind. I think Sister Solange is probably going to qualify Wednesday at Northfield Park and then head to Megan. And she'll be in New York, whether she races in New York. I doubt. No, she might race in New York with a couple of starts. So I think that is important to talk about now, because we do have a number of owners on this filly, and how many of you are licensed in New York, I'm not sure, but I think racing Sister Solange in a setting that would be conducive to her growing up, maturing, and getting confidence is very, very important. So whether that is the Poconos or Yonkers, that will be up to us and up to Megan. That's the second point. Third point, most importantly, JK Victory. I talked a little bit in videos about how he schooled the other day. He was good, but he wasn't get him into the open and watch him go to the winner's circle good. He was still running in a little bit more than I'd like in the turns. Can we add a bigger head pull to him? Yes, of course we can. Seemed a little bit off right front and right hind. Can we change the shoeing and the equipment on him? Probably, yep. No problem at all. My problem with all of that is if we regress from where he was, can we get him back to that point? My concern is we bought him for the here and now. We didn't buy him to be a project. So do we tinker? Or do we step back and say, okay, what is best for our group and what is best for the horse? Clearly, the path of least resistance is to race him at the Meadowlands, where he qualified well and where he had some luck. Even Hoosier Park, which isn't open right now. So I had reached out to Ron Burke and asked him if he could take the horse. He hasn't got back to me yet, which is a little concerning. That could mean that he forgot, which is possible. Or it could mean that he's worried about overlap, right? Entering his horses against a horse that somebody just sent him to train. You don't want to do that, right? So he may decline. He may very well decline the horse. And if that's the case, our options are now down to two. We send him to Megan, who I think has done a fantastic job with their horses, and Scotty can drive the horse, which is always a bonus for us. Or we could tinker with him and try and get him right here in Ontario. I'm just worried about the path of regression for this guy. I don't want to see him step back. And if we start changing his gear and equipment, can we just put the other equipment back on and send him back to the Meadowlands? I don't know if it's that easy. So when it comes to JK Victory, I have reached out to Ron. I will have a conversation with Megan about the horse. But as is right now, and this is per the conversation I had with Harry and James. This wasn't just something I dreamt the other night. This was after the schoolers speaking with Harry and James. And, I just made a pretty straightforward video, but a heartfelt video to the people that work for us in Ohio. And I speak to all the people that I know quite a bit better here in Ontario. It's so important that we all move forward together. Harry's barn can't move forward without Dominic's or Mario's or even Jason's. We all have to move forward together. And when Harry comes out the track and has a horse that was bought to be one of the best horses in Canada at the time, or at least one that can really make a dent in the ranks at Mohawk, and he says, it might be better, this horse might be suited better for the Meadowlands. It means a lot. As a horse person, you have some, pride also. But understanding what's at stake is not an easy thing to do all the time. And Harry gets it, James gets it. Everybody understands that the stable as a whole bought JK Victory, and the stable as a whole will go forward or backward with him. And it's important that we all kind of row in the same direction. So I was very impressed when I heard Harry and James talking in that manner. And then also, I spoke to James more specifically about any issues he saw. He said, no, nothing specific. He just didn't feel as comfortable as I'd like. So we have options with him. I'm not truly worried in any way, shape, or form about JK Victory, but I do want to get him going. We bought him for the here and now. I would like him racing in the here and now. So let's get him to a place where he's going to do some damage. So that's where we're at with JK Victory. That's where we're at with Sister Solange. Two horses that were kind of causing me a little discomfort over the last 3 days, but I think we're in the right position with them now. Kings County, for the people wondering, he'll be back in about a month. Patrick the Piranha, we're going to bring him out of the field, start preparing him in Northfield Park, and then get him ready for this late spring and summer in the Massachusetts area with Mark Beckwith and Melissa Beckwith. Atlas Hanover, again, much like Looks Like Money, he's going to tell us when it's maybe time for a little break, but for right now, he's still kicking, as they say, still feeling really good. Locatelli's almost ready. As I said, White Tiger's almost ready. Unbeatable Kemp is almost ready. A number of sophomores knocking on the door. Also, this exciting part of the year, because we're starting to watch the 2-year-olds transform and mature. Hey, Bob, put your foot down there. That's not how you say it. You have to sit up properly. Thank you. Yes, I'm speaking to you. Sit up properly, honey. That's not how you sit like that. Sit up properly. Anyway, a wonderful drive home for the McDonald family, and I hope you guys had a great week. I didn't want to have a long opening talking about it. You guys know what's going on this time of year. Staking is going on right now. I do have the stake report for March 15th. I'm going to go over it after a while when Amy starts driving. I'm going to go over the stake report for for this coming round, I suppose, of stake payments. See where there may be overlap, where maybe I overstretched or overstepped, maybe get over my skis a little bit. Send it out to a couple of people and bounce some ideas off them, and then we'll solidify that before the 15th of March. But for now, be home around 5 o'clock, 20 after 5 in Ontario. You guys had a great weekend. Good luck to everybody tonight. Per Lucky took a dive off Dipper and cash deals, and everybody racing for the rest of the week. My week will consist of the same as it did for the last little while. Tuesday afternoon, head over to Ohio, race, train all the babies on Wednesday, race Wednesday evening, do a little racing in the meadows Thursday, and then head back home Thursday evening. So with that, I'll let you go. Take care. Talk to you all very soon.